Yeah, welcome back to my class again today. Today we are going to look at how to handle assertion. Now, in the last class, I introduced assertion as a feature of detecting errors, right, in Python. So today we are going to look at how you handle it, right? So I am just going to say assertion, just call it handling, right? How you handle assertion in Python. Now, we are still going to write the same script that we wrote in the last class, which is what our viral math. But this time around, how do we handle that assertion error when it is thrown? You saw what happened when we demonstrated it on the PyCharm. Now I'm going to define the same function, which is what? Def, right? Def viral math. And then I'll supply A, B, C, and D, right? I will say try, the try block, because I want to capture it. Try block, then in it, I will now introduce my assert block, right? Assert B not equals to 0, comma. Then in it, I will now say cannot divide by 0. Now, this is what I want to print out on the board. So assert B. Now, the next thing I will do is I will say result. Then I will supply my expression, which is A divided by B multiplied by C plus D. All right? Okay, so this is what I've done. Then here I will say return result. Result. Now, I have written my try block. The next block will now be the except block. Now, this is the except block, which is for this try block. What I'm trying to say is that if this is false, if this is true, then carry out this and return result. But if this statement is false, then it will not work on this. It will throw an assertion error. Now, once that assertion error is thrown, this except block will capture it, right? So this place is going to catch the assertion error. So except assertion error. Now, because I want to display this cannot divide by 0, right? I am going to create an instance of this assertion error class, because this is a class. So this assertion error class, I'm going to create an instance for it. Then I will use that instance to be able to call this cannot divide by 0 to be displayed on the screen. All right, so to do that, I will say except assertion error as E. So this E is the variable that is going to reference the instance of this class that I've created. So it's just like saying you define a class and then you create an instance of that class. Usually what we do is that we create an object for the class by instantiating that class. So you create an object and then you call the constructor of that class and you supply your parameter to that constructor. That is usually what we've been doing if you look at object-oriented programming, right? So that is what we are doing here. This assertion error is a class. Now, because I want this message to be displayed on the screen, and I'm going to create an object of this class, which I will now use to internally, implicitly call a method, this method, str, right? I'm going to call this method implicitly using this, which is the object of this class, to call this method. And then this method is what is going to access this message, right? And then display it on the screen. So I'm actually teaching you multiple classes in this class today. Now, accept assertion error as E. Then I will now come here and I will say print. Inside here, I will say error, right? I will close it, comma, E. So once I do this, now my function is created, right? Now, implicitly, when there is an error, this one is going to be printed. So it will print out error cannot divide by 0, and then it will return none, because this result will not be calculated. So the result will be what? None. So that's what it's going to return. So it will return error cannot divide by 0. Then underneath it, it will return none. So this is my function that I've created. I've created this as my function. Now I want to call it. So to call it, I will say print, right? And then I'll call this varmath, right? I will supply 8, 2, 2, 2, right? Then I will call it again. 8, 0, 2, 2, right? Now, this is the calling. So this first one, we are already familiar with that. It's going to give me 16.0, right? Because it's a float. If I convert it to integer, it will be 16. Why this one? 8 will be given to A, 0 will be given to B, 2 will be given to C, and 2 will be given to D. Then it will come in. It will try this assert, test this assert block. Assert B not equals to 0. That is not true. It is false. Then it will raise the assert error, the assertion error. Once the assertion error is raised, it will now move from here to this guy. This one will now catch the error. This is the error is going to raise, assertion error. It will catch it. Once the assertion error is caught, an instance of it will be created. And the variable that will reference that instance is the E. Then it will go in and print error. And then this object, right, which is the instance, will now be used to access this cannot divide by error. So this one will print out error, right? Cannot divide by 0. That is what this one will print out. So it will print out this. So it will print it out on the screen. So this is how you handle assertion, just like exception, right? The same way. So this is how you handle it. Now let's go to the PyCharm and let me demonstrate this for you to see. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, help to do so. And if you like this video, click on the like button, and also help to share the video for more subscription. Thank you. So let's go to PyCharm. This is our PyCharm. Now, in the last class, we did assertion, right? We can just see it. Okay, this is it. I think it was even wrong. The spelling was wrong. So this is it. So I'm just going to double click on it for it to show. Okay, we can refactor this by renaming it. Rename file. This assertion. Then refactor it. Okay, so this was our script, right? Our last script. Now, what we want to do is to handle this exception, because if you execute this, it's just going to throw you, it's going to give you this error. Now, I don't want this error to come this way. I want to handle this error. I want to capture it and then display the error message on the screen. That is what I want to do in this class. So all I need to do is just come to this, right? And then put this in the try block. I can just delete this, right? Just come in. Then I will say try, right? So the try block, and then I will say assertion. Assert using the assert keyword. B not equals to 0. All right. But another thing I did on the board was to what? give you a message that will be displayed on the screen, right? So all I need to do is put the comma here, and then I will say cannot divide by 0. That is what I want to display on the screen. Okay. Now I will now come in and I will say result A divided by B multiply, then open the parenthesis, C plus D, right? Then I will go in and I will say return result. All right. So now, if there is an error, if this my condition is false, it's going to throw an assertion error. Then I will need to catch that assertion error. So that will come to the except block. So catch, so that is it, assertion error, no? Assertion error. So it's going to capture that, catch the assertion error as E. Now, what I did is to create a variable that is going to reference the object that will be created for the assertion error class. And then I will use that object to access the cannot divide by 0 message and display on the screen. Then I will now come here, I will now come here and say print. Why is it throwing me this, giving me this error? Print. Okay, print. Then I will print, put this in double quote, error. So that was what I did on the board. Then comma, I will now print that object. So now my function is defined. Var A, B, C, D. Then assert B not equals to 0, cannot divide by 0, result, then I'll do the calculation and I will give the answer to this, return result, except assertion error as E. So I've explained this script, so I'm just going to run it for you to see. So I'm going to call my var so I'll say print, then viral math, right? Then I will supply 8, 2, 2, 2. Now I'm going to just replicate this by copying and pasting it here. Then I will change this one to 0. All right, so that this condition will be false. Now I'm going to execute my program. So you see, instead of throwing me that assertion error, this first one will go in, calculate, because B not equals to 0. That is true. So it will go in and then it will calculate this. And it will give me 16.0 because that is what it will return. But in the second one, which is this second calling, B is equals to 0. So this, my condition is false. Because this condition is false, it will raise assertion error. Once that assertion error is raised, control will be sent to except block. So the except block will catch that assertion error and it will create an object of that assertion class. It will now use that object to access this cannot divide by 0 message that I gave. So when I say print error, which is what? A string literal, this will be printed. That is what you are seeing here, error. Then it will use this E, which is the object that I've created for this assertion class, to access this cannot divide by 0 using the str, the string method implicitly inside the class to do that. So that is what you are seeing here. Now, how did it do that? If I access the inside of this assertion error, you will see the method that this object called to be able to access this cannot divide by 0. I explained that to you on the board. So that is it. So instead of throwing me that error that crashes my program, I will capture the error and I will display this cannot divide by 0 on the screen. So this is how you handle assertion, just like what? Exception. Now in the next class, I'm going to show you how to raise an error message explicitly. You know, the error message is raised here. All what we've been doing is the error message is raised implicitly. But I'm going to show you how to raise it explicitly. That is by calling the raise keyword. So that is what I will show you in the next class. So don't miss that next class. So till then, bye-bye.